The morning of August 24, 79 AD, Pompeii woke to the smell of bread and sea air. The city followed rhythms older than any one person. Bakers had been awake for hours, their ovens already hot, grinding grain brought in from surrounding farms. Fishermen along the coast were returning with their catch, nets heavy with silver flashes from the bay. The hum of daily labor filled the streets before most households had fully risen. The sun rose over tiled rooftops, warming stone streets polished smooth by centuries of footsteps. Merchants prepared their stalls, slaves swept courtyards, water flowed through lead pipes into fountains at major intersections, a reminder of Roman engineering and control over nature. Donkeys pulled carts loaded with wine amphorae, olive oil, and fruit. The city was alive not with urgency, but with routine, the quiet confidence of a place that had endured for generations. Children chased each other between fountains. It was an ordinary day in a city that believed it had many tomorrows ahead. No one knew this would be Pompeii's final sunrise. Pompeii was not a forgotten town waiting to be destroyed. It was a vibrant Roman city near the Bay of Naples, home to roughly 11,000 people. Its streets followed a grid, lined with stepping stones to keep feet dry during rain and sewage flow. The Forum served as the heart of civic life, surrounded by temples, administrative buildings, and markets. Elections mattered here. Status mattered. Reputation mattered. Wealthy villas stood beside modest homes. Public bathhouses echoed with conversation. Bathing was not luxury, it was routine. Men and women gathered daily to socialize, conduct business, and exchange news. Warm rooms, cold plunges, steam, and oil massages turned bathing into both hygiene and ritual. Taverns overflowed with laughter, wine, and gossip. Some of these taverns doubled as gambling houses or brothels. Dice games, music, and drunken arguments spilled into the streets. Pompeii was loud, messy, and unmistakably human. The walls of Pompeii spoke loudly. Political slogans, love notes, jokes, and insults were scratched into plaster. They advertised gladiator games, mocked rivals, declared secret affairs, and begged for forgiveness. These voices were never meant to last, yet they did. These were not marble statues and emperors, they were ordinary people leaving pieces of themselves behind. Above Pompeii loomed Mount Vesuvius. To modernize, it is unmistakably dangerous. But in 79 AD, it did not look like a volcano. Romans did not have a scientific concept of volcanology. Mountains did not erupt, at least not in living memory. The idea that an entire city could vanish beneath the earth was beyond imagination. Its slopes were green and fertile, covered in vineyards and farms. The soil was rich from ancient eruptions long forgotten, making the region one of the most productive agricultural zones in Italy. Vesuvius gave life far more often than it threatened death. The mountain had slept for so long that its true nature was forgotten. Only faint myths lingered. Some locals spoke of fire once imprisoned beneath the earth, but myths were stories, not warnings. Even when earthquakes shook the region, including a major one in 62 AD, Pompeii rebuilt and moved on. The earth trembled, but life continued. Late in the morning, the mountain woke. What began deep beneath the earth was invisible, pressure building as magma forced its way upward, fracturing rock that had held for centuries. Without warning, a violent explosion tore through the summit of Vesuvius. A massive column of ash, gas, and stone blasted into the sky, rising over 20 kilometers high. Ancient writer Pliny the Younger described it as a towering pine tree, narrow at the base, spreading wide at the top. The sound would have been thunderous, echoing across the bay. Shock waves rippled outward. The mountain quite literally tore itself open. From Pompeii, people stopped and stared. At first, there was confusion, not fear. The eruption was loud, but distant. Ash drifted gently from the sky, dusting rooftops and streets. The ash was warm but light, like gray snow. Children may have played in it. Some brushed it from their shoulders and laughed. Some residents gathered valuables. Others went about their business, believing the danger would pass. Leaving meant abandoning homes, shops, and livelihoods, an unthinkable choice without certainty of disaster. After all, disasters came and went. Pompeii had survived earthquakes. Surely it would survive this too. Hours passed, and the ash thickened. Small stones followed, pounding rooftops like hail. These pumice stones fell faster and heavier, driven by gravity and the growing column above. Walking became difficult. Breathing became painful. The air grew heavy and difficult to breathe. Buildings groaned under the growing weight. Roofs collapsed. Entire homes failed not from fire, but from pressure, weight piling faster than it could be cleared. Streets disappeared beneath layers of debris. Those who waited too long now struggled to escape through choking darkness. By afternoon, daylight vanished. The sky turned black as night. Ash clouds swallowed the sun, and the city was lit only by oil lamps, fire, and flashes of lightning within the volcanic cloud. Static electricity crackled through the ash column, illuminating terror in brief flashes of blue-white light. Pompeii was no longer a city, it was a maze of shadows, fear, and falling stone. Some fled toward the sea. Boats were launched into rough water under raining ash. Some escaped. Many did not. Others barricaded themselves indoors, hoping their walls would protect them. Many stayed simply because they could not imagine leaving everything behind. Fear paralyzes as often as it motivates. Archaeology tells us this clearly. Bodies were found clutching jewelry, keys, and household objects, final decisions frozen in ash. In the early hours of the next morning, the eruption entered its most lethal stage. Pyroclastic flows, fast-moving clouds of superheated gas and ash, raced down the mountain at incredible speed. These flows hugged the ground, hotter than any firestorm, faster than a sprinting horse. There was no warning sound, only sudden annihilation. When they reached Pompeii, survival was impossible. The heat was extreme, and the city was overwhelmed in moments. Pompeii did not burn. It was erased. When the eruption ended, Pompeii lay buried under meters of volcanic material. The streets, homes, and people were sealed away, protected from decay by the very ash that destroyed them. Time stopped. Wood rotted. Flesh vanished. But voids remained, human-shaped absences waiting to be discovered centuries later. The world forgot Pompeii. Fields were planted above it. Generations passed, unaware of what slept beneath their feet. In the 18th century, workers digging near Naples uncovered stone walls and painted rooms. Slowly, Pompeii emerged from the ground. What began as treasure hunting turned into one of the most important archaeological discoveries in human history. What they found was not myth, but reality, a Roman city preserved in astonishing detail, offering a direct window into ancient life. Pompeii matters because it shows us history without filters. Not emperors and legends, but bakers, families, lovers, and children. Their world ended in a day, but their lives endure in fragments, footprints, meals left unfinished, graffiti half erased. It reminds us that civilization feels permanent, until it isn't. Pompeii lived. Pompeii died. And through ash and time, Pompeii still speaks.